listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again today. We have another show lined up for y'all. We have our special guest. She's going to tell us a little bit about her life and also about what she's doing with her career. Our special guest for today is Peggy van der Plassche, and she's going to talk about something that is going to be very interesting to the audience. It's redefining success, why microdosing is the missing key to success in your career. She has a website you can go visit. It's her name, PeggyVanderPlassche.com. First and foremost, Peggy, thank you for your time. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to discussing that topic, and I'm doing great. I'm with you. I'm obviously doing great. How are you doing?
I appreciate it. I'm doing great as well. Well, just a little bit of intro. You have over 20 years plus years of experience in financial services and technology industries, and you have served executive and venture capitalists. When it comes to what you're doing now, kind of give the audience a little bit of a background story where how you got to where you are today.
Yes, and what I'm doing now is really helping executive and entrepreneur with exactly what you are mentioning, redefining success and using microdosing in order to do that. So it was a bit of a journey, as you can imagine, to go from finance to being a microdosing expert. And it really came down to many people, and not just entrepreneurs and executives, but stressed, anxious, depressed. I was not different. And at some point, I really wanted to, reboot my career, reboot my life. And I started exploring microdosing psilocybin. And when I started the process, it really, really changed my life. I started to talk about it with all my former peers in finance and technology. And voila, people were so interested by that I actually pivoted from finance to now health and wellness, and helping people like me, like your audience, actually have better success by using psychedelic, specifically microdosing psilocybin.
And when it comes to that topic, you are the founder of the Microdose Diet. And you even have a book that people can go to your website, like I mentioned earlier. Your name is really easy, PeggyVanderPlassche.com. When it comes to the topic, Microdose Diet, explain what that is to the audience, because I understand that, you being advocate for benefits of alternative medicine, this is something that will really be interested for our audience.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for the question. Well, the book first is, I would say, the first part is your psychedelic education. So it's Psychedelic 101, because I realize that not everyone is up to speed on that. So that's giving more insight on what psychedelics are. And the second part is really a 90-day plan or a 12-week plan on microdosing, but not just microdosing, because when you use psychedelics, preparation and integration are extremely important steps in the process. Just microdosing is great. It's going to help you, reduce your anxiety, reduce your stress, but also increase your focus and your creativity. But if you really, really want great results, and I would say great long-lasting results, you need a bit more than just that. And the Microdose Diet is really a protocol that is helping you clear and clean the old stuff to make place for better and bigger stuff. So it's really, I would say, a turnkey program for people who really, really want to see a next level of success actually in their life and their career.
When you came up with being the founder of the Microdose Diet, you mentioned before how you were spreading the news to, your friends and colleagues. What was their reaction, and were some of them able to convert and give this a shot? And last part of that question is, what was some of the feedback?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So the reaction, I had the newsletter. I still have a newsletter, but at the time, my newsletter was about investing in technology, so a very different topic. And I saw such great results that I took a chance or a leap of faith because I wanted to share my experience. So people learned, I would say, at scale, kind of at the same time what I was doing and my results. And I got tons of people reaching out to me, actually more than when I was talking about investments, let's be honest, and asking me, what I was doing, what results I saw, where did I buy my products. And the feedback was, I would say, very positive, but also very intrigued because, well, I'm definitely not the poster girl for psychedelic. Let's be honest, like I'm a middle-aged woman who was in finance. That's not what you expect to see supporting microdosing psychedelic. But people were extremely interested because of that background and the fact that I guess I was credible. I think the most feedback I got was, I'm suffering. And I really, really want to, get rid of this anxiety, that stress, but also get more creativity, more focus in my life. How can you help me with that? And the most interesting thing was that all the people contacting me, they were doing that by emails, by text, by DM, but no one was commenting on the social media posts because there are still a lot of stigma associated with psychedelic, actually.
In your book that we mentioned, the Microdose Diet, the 90-day plan for more success, passion, and happiness, people can pre-order that right now. If I'm correct, you can let me know if I'm not.
Yes,
it comes
you're
out
absolutely
in 2024, right?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. The book is on pre-order right now on Amazon.com.ca, Barnes and Nobles as well, and it will be out at the beginning of May. And at the beginning of May, there will be also an online course available for people who are more into online course, and that will be a lot of the same rationale in terms of using alternative medicine to get more success, especially career success.
So let's focus a little bit on the book and let's talk about the problem that people are, trying to find a solution for. And the solution obviously is to check out the 90-day plan for reclaiming, people's power in life. So let's focus on the problem. People want success. People want money. People want happiness. People want passion. But the problem is people could be feeling that there is something missing, or they could be having frustration of not reaching desired levels of success and happiness. What are some ways that these alternative medicines and practices can help them tap into that space of potential?
Yeah, and a lot of that, if we take a bit of a step back, it's also coming from our own conditioning. So I was the prime example of, on the outside, having a successful career, but at the same time, I knew, like many of the people who are listening to us today, I could do more, I could be more, but I was not able to get there. And it's a bit this, what got you here won't get you there, And I use really this mix of alternative therapies, and by that I mean microdosing psilocybin, but also tapping meditation, journaling, guided visualization to really help me release this old conditioning in order to install new programs that are way more supportive. So the combination of these tools is very powerful because microdosing really helps you lower your ego barrier. And by lowering your ego barrier, it's easier to rewire your brain. And, very often when we want more success in our career, and I was, again, the first person to do that, you're going to have more training. You're going to take executive execution. Maybe you learn another language. Maybe you change companies because you think it's the company that is not giving you the time of day. But very often, the commonality in all this challenge is you. And if you have beliefs that are unbeknownst to you and that are limiting you, well, the first thing you need to do is not to add more education, more working hours, more efforts, is to remove these barriers that are blocking you. And this combination of alternative therapies is helping you do that. That's the value.
Once again, listen to our Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, Peggy van der Plassche. You can go to her website. It's peggyvanderplassche.com. We're mentioning her book that you can pre-order right now on Amazon. It's going to be available early May next year. And that is more the Microdose Diet, the 90-day plan for more success, passion, and happiness. When people are looking how they can implement this, right, and focus on the program, is it fast-paced? Is it long-term? What is the approach into incorporating these alternative medicines and, practice in their daily life?
Yes, and that was the goal, like I realized that not many people can sit an hour a day meditating, journaling, and so on. So the goal is really to make it user-friendly. So it's like 15 minutes a day for 90 days. So, and I know everyone's like, oh, even 15 minutes a day seems like a lot, but 15 minutes a day in order to really reboot your life and your career, I think you're totally worth it, and it is very easy. The goal is really to guide you. I believe that it's very important for individuals to be self-managed, and I really like the idea of giving the tools for people to do that themselves. They can use the Microdose Diet 2-3 times a year if they desire, with different intention and different goals, versus having to necessarily book a meeting with someone like me every week that's going to cost them $200 or $300 per week. I want it to be extremely accessible for everyone to benefit from it.
And tell the audience a little bit about your experience, because you also have used this program. And what was your experience like with your transformation?
Yes, exactly. Well, I was actually, I guess, the guinea pig for the program. I would say for the last 15 years, I've been a seeker. I've always wanted more in my life, but I realized that, if I was not getting what I wanted, it's because I was doing something wrong. And it was never about the amount of effort or education. It was something else that was more intangible. So I followed a lot of trainings. I worked with a lot of practitioners, and there was always a bit something missing, because very often these tools are used in isolation, they're a bit, one trick pony. And I think actually the combination of tools really what makes them powerful, because it helps your nervous system, it helps your emotions, it helps your mindset. And when I started the Microdose Diet on myself, I was extremely anxious. I had a lot of PTSD. I was suffering from depression, but also, like many people, I had kind of lost my passion, lost my mojo for life. I know I wanted bigger things, but there was still no excitement, you know what I mean? It was without joy, and it was very difficult to go through the day. I would still obviously check my list of to-dos, but it was getting very, very difficult. And I started really combining all these tools on me, on my daily life, and I saw a huge difference first in terms of reduction of stress, anxiety, PTSD, very, very huge reduction in my PTSD, but also in my depression. And that, if you know what it is to be extremely anxious, stressed, depressed, and have PTSD, just that is is a lifesaver. But in addition of that, I had an increase in my mood, in my energy, in my focus, in my creativity. So I wrote another book than the Microdose Diet in just 10 days, And in less than a year, I found a literary agent. If people know what the process is to be published, it's a grueling process. So I found a literary agent. I'm going to be, my book's going to be distributed by Simon & Schuster, which is one of the big five. I'm launching my own brand of microdosing products. As I said, I'm launching my online course. I'm just coming back from Miami and New York, where I spoke on stage about microdosing psilocybin. So let's say that the last 18 months have been tremendously valuable for me. And I really, really credit it to putting all of this alternative therapy together.
We're talking to our guest, Peggy van de Plassche. You go to her website, peggyvandeplassche.com. When you look at now versus then, now that you have all this knowledge and experience with microdosing, when it comes to suffering, I remember you said that word earlier on in the conversation. How have you noticed how you approach suffering now that you know what you know now versus then?
It's very interesting because it's a bit almost like a new me, in the sense that I sometimes have to remind myself who I would have felt 2 years ago, because it seems so foreign to me now. And I had a lot of neuroses. So, for example, I was obsessed with time, with being on time. I was very afraid of being late. It was a huge, neurosis of mine. So I would check the time, 50, 100 times per hour. And I would always go to meetings 10, 15 minutes early because I was always afraid to be late. Now I just arrive on time and I barely check the time. And I mean, for me, it was a big annoyance in my life. But also I was very paranoid. So I was approaching everything from a very negative point of view, meaning that, everything will fail. It's going to be terrible. These people are not supporting me. Anyway, you know what negative means. Now, I'm just doing my things and I'm going to networking events. I was, as I said, at conferences recently. I speak with everyone. I have no issue coming up to someone if I want to speak with them because I think they're interesting. Well, before, maybe I would have done it, but it would have required tremendous amount of willpower. So I was doing a lot of things in my life already in the past, but it was just draining. No, I just don't think about it. I just do it. It's just easy,
Yeah, and when it comes to another point with suffering is that sometimes that can be a catalyst for some people to turn the page in their life. And for you turn the page and you're moving towards your goals. You mentioned about traveling, being in Miami, New York, you're talking to people, educating them about microdosing. When it comes to reframing people's perspectives, how do you try to open that door for them to realize there's also other help? You don't have to stay this way.
Yes, and it's interesting because obviously not everyone is the same. So some people are more ready than others to go in that direction. So. And to your point, for many people, suffering is the catalyst to actually try to get better. So people can look at it from both ways. One is, I want the suffering to stop. Two, it might be, I want to be better and get better in my life. So they might not come from a place of suffering. They might come from a place of, I want more creativity, more focus, more performance, just more joy and excitement in my life. When I speak with people, again, depending on their perspective, if they want to suffer less or if they want to get more joy and passion, it's going to be a different conversation. But what's interesting is that you can feel who is already interested and just need a little nudge. And they just want the reassurance. They just want to touch you or see you and see that it's real before they do it themselves. So these are people where, it is not a long conversation. Let's put it that way. After, you have people who, unfortunately for them, they're not as ready, and there is nothing you could say really that would change their mind. And I'm not in the business of changing people's mind, I'm here to explain what I'm doing. I'm here to explain what happened to me and how people could do the same for themselves. But if they are not convinced, well, that's their, obviously that's their right. And I focus more on people who are already very, very interested and want more of the guidelines and the protocol, actually.
And with that point, how do you now today, knowing what you know and being able to teach people and talk to them about microdosing, how do you set your own boundaries and teach others how to set them boundaries when it comes to protecting your vision for your life, your goals, especially when challenges hit?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. That's such a great question, because boundaries are key, and that's one of the things actually I address in the book, because if you keep giving your energy, your time, your resources to people, things, activities that are not supporting your vision, I'm stating the obvious, but you're putting everything and everyone before your own goals and objectives, or your dreams, if you want to use that word. But if you really, and that's the beginning of the book is really about, okay, let's assess who and where you spend your energy over a 1 week time, and realize that it's not necessarily massive adjustments that you need to make in order to start clearing more time and focus on your own project. And the goal is not time management. I'm not a time management expert. I'm not interested in that. I just want people to realize they are more power over their time, their resources, their energy than they think they have. Very often, if you have a conversation, people will say, well, I have no choice. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. We have a choice. It's just that we don't want to have difficult conversations. And, that's also why I like microdosing and alternative therapy, because it calms your nervous system. And with a calm nervous system, you can get off autopilot and you can have these difficult conversations that before would just overwhelm you and right away put you back in this reactive mode. So the whole point of the microdose diet is really to put you back in the driver's seat and have 100% of your own potential available to you. It is nothing else than that. It's not magical. It's removing the barriers. It's if you want to run a marathon, the first thing you're going to do is to remove 10 pounds weight at your ankle. It's not running longer and faster and harder. It's not getting up at 5 a.m., And I think that's really a different angle from most approach today in the hustle culture, which is just more. If you work more, you're going to have more success. No, I don't think if you work more, you're going to have more success, actually.
Once again, talking to our guest today, Peggy van der Plassche. You can go to her website, peggyvanderplassche.com. You can also get her book. Is available next year, but you can pre-order right now. It is on Amazon. It's more the Microdose Diet, the 90-day plan for more success, passion, and happiness. I mean, basically, is like you said, rewire yourself, rewire your brain. I'm just reading from your website, treating a little bit, calm your body, master your emotions, raise your energy, find personal and professional success. So that rides right in line with what we're saying throughout the whole show. When it comes to your career, when it comes to you as an individual, realignment means you got a little work to do. But that work is good work because now you know what you need to be doing.
Exactly. And, you can spend more hours at your current job or your current, if you're an entrepreneur, current venture. But the best return on your investment is to remove the blocks that are, of course, hindering you in your career, but also in your life. Because once you've done that, it's gone forever. While the 50 hours you're going to allocate on one project, when this project is done, that time is gone. It's not helping you anymore. So it's more important to really focus on removing your limitations and your blocks than put more time in, another diploma, for example.
You also, real quick before we let you go, you have a podcast that is the Microdose Diet podcast with Peggy von der Plassche. Tell us a little bit about what you talk about. I mean, I think we have a hill hand what you talk about, but for the audience, what can they expect when they listen to your show?
Yeah, so they're going to hear about, psychedelics, so they understand more what it is. They're also going to hear about professional and personal development. I also invite guests who are in the field. So it's really a mix of information that's going to not only give them, food for thoughts, but also going to hopefully help them becoming even more critical thinker, even more open-minded, and own their power even more. At the end of the day, I'm all about personal power. I want people to be empowered, and that's what I want to be able to help them with.
Once again, people can go visit your website for more information and to contact you, PeggyVonderPlassche.com. Once again, I want to thank you for your time, but before we let you go, what's a call to action that you want our listeners to take?
Yes, definitely. I want them, and they can go to my website, but they can also use ChatGPT or Google. Look into microdosing psilocybin, because that might be the thing that will bring you to the next level. And if you're like me, you might only regret not having done that 10 years ago. So really, really wishing them a lot of luck, and to really look into microdosing for their own success.
Once again, I want to thank our guest, Peggy von der Plassche, for your time.
Thank you so much, Maya.